You all better buckle up, because we're on the roads to WrestleMania. The granddaddy of them all sure has had a lot of great moments in its lifetime. But, much like your real granddad on Facebook, some moments are out of touch, some moments are a bit cringe, and some are surprisingly more racist than what you remember. So let's take the highway to hell with all these moments we'd rather forget. This is Extreme League Wrestling, and here are our 10 worst WrestleMania moments. The music in this episode is brought to you by producer Dormir. If you would like to support his new beat tape out now, go ahead and hit the link in our description. Number 10, Regis Philbin vs. Japan. WrestleMania is always a show full of celebrity integrations, and for the time there was no bigger celebrity to get than the king of daytime talk, Regis Philbin. And his shtick for the night was simple enough. Regis went around and was failing at doing interviews with some of the WWF superstars. Seems like a fairly simple role for a mainstream celebrity at WrestleMania, right? Well, until this happened. Regis was interviewing Tenryu and Takano, where I guess the whole joke of the interview was that they didn't speak English. Regis then puts on a Tarzan voice, which I don't think that's very necessary. And during the match, the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire host really doesn't make it any better by yelling random Japanese words like Toyota whenever they would hit a big move. Now Regis, is that really your final answer? And with all due respect to Mr. Philbin's great legacy, this is not his brightest moment, and it isn't one for WrestleMania either. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss our next upload. Number 9, Jimmy Snuka at WrestleMania 25. At WrestleMania 25, Chris Jericho had a match versus some legends from the yesteryear of the world of professional wrestling. This three-man team consisted of greats like Roddy Piper, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, who would go on to have a short run with the company after this because he could still go in the ring. Oh yeah, and a known murderer in Jimmy Snuka. And even watching the match is pretty difficult because Snuka is very much past his mental and physical prime. And unlike our last entry, I mean all the disrespect whenever I say any word about Jimmy Snuka. Never forget, Vince McMahon helped this guy get away with murder. Number 8, the Shampoo Commercial. Edge and Booker T feuded on who would be the spokesperson for a Japanese shampoo. That's really it. It's really dumb, really stupid, and beneath both men. Now Booker T, spin a Rooney on out of here. Trust me, I'll need you later. And hey, would you like to support a great Indiegogo campaign going to a fantastic cause? Bright Spot Collaborative is currently running an Indiegogo campaign for their newest short film, Whalefall. This film follows the story of 4 estranged siblings gathering after their mother's death. And please also know, if you're supporting this Indiegogo campaign, your money is also going towards a great cause, with $1,000 of Bright Spot Collaborative's goal going towards the nonprofit based in Fort Worth, Texas, The Warm Place, which provides resources for those children who have unfortunately lost a parent and helps them through the grieving process. You can support Bright Spot Collaborative and The Warm Place using the link down below. Now, oh god, let's get back to the worst WrestleMania moments. Number 7, Dean Ambrose vs. Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania 32. So, in general for this list, I've wanted to keep it to moments that happened at WrestleMania, not necessarily worst matches. That's a different list. But the build and the aftermath of this match shows a core problem with WWE's booking style under Vince McMahon. This feud more so prioritized showing us all the legends that were giving Ambrose weapons like Mick Foley and Terry Funk, and then for him to not use them during the match. Not to mention, Brock Lesnar couldn't give a damn about being in this WrestleMania match. After beating The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania, it really was absurd the way that they were booking Brock and what they were letting him get away with his time in the company being this new beast incarnate. Brock, buddy, I don't care if you're returning to the UFC. You're fighting Ambrose now, damn it! Nepotism within WWE in its purest form. We all know Jon Moxley can have a great death match with his hands tied behind his back. This could have been perfect if Brock would have just gave a shit. And I don't care if I'm peeking, because Jon Moxley's my favorite wrestler, damn it! Number 6, Hulk Hogan forgets where he is. Hulk Hogan and WrestleMania go together like ice cream and cake. But if the cake had started to mold this weird orangey tan mold that you'd never seen before in your life and got real racist all of a sudden, well, it's clear that the old man didn't read the program, because instead of stating that he was in the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, he must have thought he was at WrestleMania 3 at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. Brother, you are not here to slam Andre. A fumble nonetheless. I'm sure Hulk Hogan never had any other bad WrestleMania moments that would make this list, and we can leave the orange bastard behind us, right? Right? Number 5, Hulk Hogan does a racism. Oh brother, this is getting kinda ridiculous, Hulk. Now imagine if that moldy cake I mentioned before started talking and saying a lot of really out-of-pocket shit. Well, look no further than WrestleMania 9, and don't worry, we're getting to that. Earlier in the night in the interview, the writing was truly on the wall for how this all-time crap WrestleMania would have ended. During a backstage interview with the Hulkster, he is asked if he would rather face Bret Hart or Yokozuna for the WWF Championship. And Hulk gave a standard enough answer, saying that it doesn't matter if he faces Bret Hart or Yokozuna for the WWF Championship, but that Hulkamania was gonna run wild. And that's all that happened, right? Yeah, no. Instead of saying Yokozuna's name, like a normal person, the Hulkster refers to Yokozuna as a racist term for Japanese people. If you're thinking of one, chances are, yeah, that's probably it. Which, in context of what we know now, makes absolutely no sense, because Yokozuna wasn't Japanese, he was Samoan! Okay guys, the cake has properly molded, it has turned orange for some reason, and has started saying a lot of out-of-pocket Maybe let's just start throwing it away. Number 4, Hulkamania runs wild on WrestleMania 9. Terry, for the love of God, stop. It's already dead. Look, we all know the story at this point. Bret Hart and Yokozuna have their match, Bret gets screwed over by Mr. Fuji, and Hulk comes out to defend Bret. But then, he challenges Yokozuna for the WWF title, and just wins it. Someone, please, for the love of God, just throw the cake away. I'm about to just throw it on the damn ground. Ah! Number 3, Santino wins the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. Let's see, how do you celebrate women's wrestling at the granddaddy of them all? Oh, I have an idea. Let's have Kid Rock do a really weird performance and give no woman their own entrance, and they all just go down the line as he ogles at him. And while all the women come out to know their own music, let's go ahead and have Kid Rock just weirdly breathe into the microphone as they walk down the entrance ramp. And what could we have the women win if they win the Battle Royal? A title opportunity? A chance to become Raw General Manager maybe, in a more respectable role where they won't be sexually objectified? Oh, no, even better, because the winning Diva would become Miss WrestleMania. Oh my god, I hate it! Okay, fine. It is a time in history that we don't look back very fondly on women's wrestling, but it's cool. There were plenty of great women on the roster who, deserved a WrestleMania moment, and you know what? Okay, fine, just tell me who wins the match. Oh, you have to be f***ing kidding me! WWE, at the forefront of women's wrestling. Hey, is there a big match for women to, actually get a good highlight in the world of WrestleMania or WWE history? Cool, have a man win it, because that makes sense. Oh, and trust me, I hear you neckbeards who live in your mother's basement in the comments. Well, WWE didn't have any good wrestlers on the roster. Who else was gonna win it? The Bella Twins, Beth Phoenix, Gail Kim. Hell, Natalya was there. Throw her a bone. But yeah, I hated all of this, from the entrance, to the weird Kid Rock performance, to the eventual winner, and I feel like after watching this, I should go wash out my eyes with rubbing alcohol. Number 2, Roddy Piper does blackface. Because of course he did! Why wouldn't he? And look, while I love Roddy Piper more than that racist orange cake from earlier, in sense of fairness, I do have to put this at number 2 on the list. Cause he does blackface, he just does it, and I can't ignore that. And head-scratchingly enough, he did it to prove that it wasn't about race? Look, there are other ways to communicate that, I don't know, words, promos, segments, matches, literally any other answer could be there. Why is your first decision blackface? And by the way, you want to know the wrestling legend he was facing at WrestleMania 6? Bad News Brown. Both of these men are perfectly capable of telling a good in-ring story. Why is his face painted? Ah! And prior to his death, Roddy Piper pinned the blame on the angle to Vince McMahon, which, Vince also said the N-word live on television, so I would believe that. And finally, our number 1 worst WrestleMania moment of all time, Triple H versus Booker T. Now look, I know I said that there would be a worst WrestleMania matches list, and that will come, but there is something more to this match that I feel like I need to highlight that truly makes it the worst WrestleMania moment of all time. Now, I know during this list I have said that many things are the worst moments in WrestleMania history because, well, racism. And, I don't think I'm far off in having that opinion. But this feud from WrestleMania 19 highlights something that I feel like needs to be discussed more, not only in the professional wrestling world, but in this country as a whole, which is systematic racism. In 1987, Booker T was sentenced to 19 months in jail after robbing a Wendy's at gunpoint. point. And mind you, while that sentence is fair, don't rob people. And as I think we all know at this point, the US criminal justice and prison system can become a revolving door, especially for minorities in this country. This is unfortunately due to a lot of outdated policies and practices that are way too big to discuss in a professional wrestling list video. But fast forward to WWE's build to WrestleMania 19, and Booker T was about to main event the biggest wrestling show of the year. Booker T got his life together and had a storied wrestling career at this point. He beat the odds and could be an inspiration to many who could fall down the path that he did when he was young. And as we all know, race is such a difficult topic. WWE would never put that into a storyline or make it someone's entire character or talk about it in the worst possible way. Oh wait, but you would figure, as a normal sensible person, when Triple H cuts a promo on Booker T saying that people like him don't become WWE World Heavyweight Champion, you'd figure that they would be building up towards a Booker T WrestleMania moment, where he rises above everything that has kept him behind in the past and is finally sitting atop the mountain, battling his demons, and becoming a great man. And while don't get me wrong, Booker T in general has done that, of course they didn't do it at WrestleMania, because why would this asshole ever let anything like that happen? And while I do try to joke to keep these things light, this moment is just so egregious to me, I have to hit it with a serious tone. It takes so long for Triple H after the final pedigree to get up and finally pin Booker T, and not even that, it is the laziest pin I have ever seen in my entire life. Booker T deserves better, and f*** Vince McMahon for putting this match together and this entire storyline and the worst moment in WrestleMania history. And that is our list for the worst moments in WrestleMania history. What do you think the worst moment in WrestleMania history is? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you would like to support Dormier and Bright Spot Collaborative, go ahead and hit those links in our description down below. This has been Extreme League Wrestling, and we'll catch you next time.